What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua, Joey Dawejko, Jeff Fortune, and, of course, Andy Ruiz. Now, Jeff Fortune, of course, is the trainer of Manny Pacquiao, and he had this to say about Anthony Joshua. He says, Anthony Joshua was dropped in sparring by a little-known U.S. heavyweight, Joey Dawejko, according to Manny Pacquiao's coach, Justine. Yazzie was in the corner, of course, of the Filipino return this year, and he was asked for his take on the upcoming unification bout on AJ versus Fury, okay? Now, he said something interesting. He said, when they asked him, you know, he didn't hold back when they asked, because a lot of people don't like to talk about that type of stuff. But he said, let's get it. He says, I'm not in camp. I speak to AJ. I speak to Rob McCracken. I speak to all the people. No, he wasn't knocked out, not at all. They had 2 spars, not at all. But he said, how many times has AJ had a fight where numerous camps that he's been dropped? He says he's not that kind of guy who would deny that sort of thing. But he did get definitely dropped, okay? So Joey Dawejko, 30 years of age, possesses a 20-8 record, did in fact drop Anthony Joshua in sparring. Now, you know, rumors buzzed all around that whole situation. Joshua lost. People are looking for excuses. People are looking for explanations. People are looking for all types of shit. Okay, but we do know what Anthony Joshua looked like a couple days before the fight. We've seen his face all scraped up and bruised and shit like that. You know, and Joey Dawejko was his sparring partner. Okay, and they said, this is what he said. He said, a journalist messaged me the other day. He said, we heard that he got knocked out by Ajit Kabayel. And I said, Kabayel wasn't in the camp. This is what Justine said. He said, he asked who else was there. He said, I sparred with Joey Dawejko. They said, oh, Joey Dawejko knocked him out. But it wasn't a knockout. It was a knockdown. But the question is, did that knockdown give him a concussion? Because obviously, see, these type of things that are said, okay, they get disguised as rumors because you can't validate it, but then they come from reliable sources. Like Mr. Fortune just said, hey, I talked to everybody. You know, and probably at the time he wouldn't have said anything. That's why he's coming forth now and letting people know, like, yeah, this was the deal with Joshua. Joshua got dropped in sparring. Now, if he had a concussion, he shouldn't have had his ass in the ring. However, I think a lot of things happen for a reason, okay, a particular reason. I think he needed that loss to realize, like, hey, you can't go into a fight half-cocked and expect to win just because you've won all the other fights before that. Counterpunch. I think he overlooked Andy Ruiz, gave the man his belts, let him hold the belts, sit there and smile and put dap to him and all this shit. And then only for that man to smile in your face back, deceive you, and then stab you in the back by coming out there and giving you 100% Mexican-American ass-kicking. He let nothing to chance. He was a savage beast. For every 2 punches Anthony Joshua threw, Ruiz threw 5 or 6. Okay, so he knew what he was doing. Did he know that he was concussed? I don't think he knew that. But if he was concussed again, why is he there? See, I'm against fighters fighting injured. Why do you think guys like Usyk or Thurman or these guys, they don't come back until they're 100 or supposedly 100 because, you know, Keith Thurman, you know, he's always having a surgery. Deontay Wilder, would you prefer him to just keep fighting with a broken part or an injury? No. I mean, I wouldn't. At the end of the day, you want someone at their best. You don't want someone that's 100%. Or let's say 98%. Then you got a guy over here that's 67% due to some type of tear in his bicep, right? That he can't even pull a punch back if he throws a punch. But if you had that, like we all know, that's been counterpunched, especially like a pulled bicep. Those type of things are going to prohibit you from fighting even 50% the way you're supposed to. Okay. Now, back to Joshua though, it just shows you that all of the things that we're hearing about now, about that particular situation at that particular segment of time, those type of things are coming forth. Okay? And you know coaches talk to other coaches just like managers talk to other managers, and therefore they do that. They're a circle of people. Like referees will come, they converse with other referees, they call themselves, they communicate, they congregate. And boxer trainers, they do the same thing as well. So when he did hear that, yeah, he didn't say it at the time. Again, he just waited until the proper time. Now, Joshua was obviously, you look at Joshua giving props to that particular sparring partner. If you see him, I'm looking at this article, he's all hugged up with him now. He's giving him mad respect. Anybody that does that had to be dropped by a guy to get that type of respect, especially from Joshua. Okay, so yes, the man was knocked down, excuse me, but according to sources, he was never knocked out. But how many times can you take a knock? Can you be hit and take a concussion? How many times people got dropped and then they get up with a concussion? Ask Timothy Bradley that when he fought Ruslan Pravandakov. You guys remember that? He had a concussion, he said, like the second round. He kept fighting, though. It showed his heart, his spirit, his tenacity, his drive, right? But at the end of the day, right, he still had a concussion, but he still fought through it. Not everybody can do that. It depends on what type of concussion you have. That could have been fatal if he would have kept getting hit, because he was getting hit with punches to the front of his face, but he got caught with that left hook to the side of that side of your head, like right here. This is a pressure point right here, and he got hit. Boom! That took away everything. And it can and it will. Pressure points they're one of those things that can initiate that type of reaction. And the reaction that he got was a left hook. But who's to say he didn't get caught with a left hook? That might have been a punch that he already got caught with anyway. You know what I mean? That could have been that damaged area that he got caught with and he never recovered. Same left hook. Right? Too close to a shorter, sturdier person. And in Andy Ruiz's case, it's a faster person, because Andy throws those bows. Okay, he does. But it just shows you, though, it makes you also wonder, if you look at the flip side of that. He goes back in there, he gets outboxed by Anthony Joshua, then he hasn't fought ever since. The question is now, and the intriguing thing about this situation is Andy Ruiz as good as people think he is? You see what I'm saying? Because, yeah, he fought Parker. He lost to a split decision. He could have went either way. I get that. He beats Anthony Joshua, takes all the belts except the WBC. He attempts to make a fight with the WBC champion at the time, Deontay Wilder. But it falls through because of the title deed of the contract, right? Of the exercise and the rematch clause. Okay, he goes in there and then he gets beat by that same guy that keeps him back with a jab. So again, what type of fighter do you really think Andy Ruiz is? Because then when he went back into the fight, he was overweight. Would he have done that if he was underweight? That's the question. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Anthony Joshua, rumored to allegedly be knocked down by Joey Dawejko, according to Mr. Fortune's sources. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys can counterpunch. Peace.